Welcome to our 413 project. My name is Riya Sanjay.
Haazib Awan.
Meehika Patel.
Raghav Mandhana.
On a college campus, there's never a lack of things to do, especially within the union. You can grab a meal on the way to class, listen to some karaoke in the Courtyard Cafe, or play a quick game of Dance Dance Revolution in the rec room. For our project, we chose to simulate activity in the rec room. Our objective is to effectively predict the amount of customers who are able to participate in the activity they originally came for. We also predicted the amount of customers who balked and the amount of customers that chose to participate in something else. This objective will be used to measure customer satisfaction by assigning a factor of 1 for a person engaging in his first choice, a factor of 0 for balking, or a factor of 0.5 for a person engaging in his second choice. Customer service plays a large factor in the success of a business, which makes this simulation an extremely helpful study for the future of the rec room. Our system schedules arrivals of batches of 1 to 8 customers who choose to either bowl, play pool, or engage in miscellaneous activities, which can range from video games, arcade games, Dance Dance Revolution, chess, or foosball. We simulated our system for the weekends, and if bowling was full, they considered playing pool, engaging in a miscellaneous activity, or leaving. If pool was full, they considered bowling, miscellaneous activities, or leaving.
In order to simulate the rec room effectively, some assumptions were made. The maximum amount of customers that can arrive in a batch is 8. If a group is larger than 8 arrives, then they would be considered 2 separate batches because 8 is the upper limit for the majority of the rec room activities. A batch chooses to bowl with probability of 0.7, play pool with probability of 0.25, or engage in a miscellaneous activity such as foosball, chess, DDR, video games, and arcade games with probability 0.05. This assumption was based on an observation of a Saturday in the rec room and the recommendation from the manager, Donna. If all the bowling lanes are full, a person will play pool with a probability 0.1, do a miscellaneous activity with probability 0.1, and leave with probability 0.8. This was based on customer preferences gathered by survey data. If all the pool tables are full, a person will bowl with probability 0.1, do a miscellaneous activity with probability 0.1, and leave with probability 0.8. This was based on generated by survey data. The probability of the arrival of a specific batch size is the same across bowling, pool, and miscellaneous. This assumption is based upon our observations of the consistency of various batches of customers entering the rec room. Based on our observations, the rec room never reached full capacity on weekdays, so we found it to be trivial to model the weekdays for bulking. On the other hand, we found the rec room reach full capacity on weekends, so we created a weekend simulation based on the assumption that weekends are the busiest. Miscellaneous activities never reach full capacity. Between foosball, chess, DDR, video games, and arcade games, there are enough activities and space available. If a person chooses to play pool, he plays for an hour because the rental of billiards table is on a per-hour basis. If a person shows up to engage in miscellaneous activity, he does just that and leaves. This was based on our live observations and aggregation of survey data. Average time spent engaging in miscellaneous activities is 15 minutes. This average is based on our data collection of how many games users choose to play and information about foosball, Wii games, Dance Dance Revolution available on the internet.
We collected data through real-time observations, conversations with the manager of Rec Room, Donna, who has been a manager for over 16 years, and by gathering survey results. Donna was able to provide us with a multitude of data as can be seen on the screen now. This data was used to create parametric distributions, which were later validated through goodness of fit test.
Now we would like to describe the model in a more technical sense by describing what the different events are and what the different states are. The states in the system are O lanes, O tables, BQ, PQ, MQ, and 2 arrays intact and act comp. O lanes and O tables track the number of open lanes and the number of empty tables at any given point. The BQ, PQ, and MQ are the number of groups in bowling queue, in pool queue, or in miscellaneous queue. Intact is an array that keeps track of the activity that the group intends to perform. A value of 1 would mean bowling, 2 would mean pool, 3 would mean miscellaneous. And act comp would keep the track of activity that the groups end up performing. This is in case that the activity that they initially came for is full. the different events are when they enter the system, then they are either sent to bowl, pool, or miscellaneous, depending on a random number that would assign the probabilities based on their preferences. This means that bowling would be assigned with a 70% probability, pool would be assigned with a 25%, and miscellaneous with a 5%. Once they finish these activities, the end service for them, which is B end, P end, and M end, reschedules these activities as long as there are people in the queue. Now, in the event that the servers are full, that is O lanes or O tables are 0, then the events such as P full and B full would be scheduled. Once these events are scheduled, the user makes a decision of either balking or going to a different activity. These again are defined based on a random number, and the probabilities that we are going to be using is with an 80% probability they choose to leave, with a 10% probability they choose to go to either pool or bowling depending on what they were earlier, and with a 10% probability they go to miscellaneous. This basically concludes the event portion of the Sigma model.
To satisfy the law of total probability, we had to take the average contribution from each batch size. This could have skewed our values because we collected data from the most recent month, March, which included spring break. Also, using our data and Donna's recommendation, the team was able to conclude that on an average, 70% of people will be bowling, 25% will be playing pool, and 5% will be engaging in miscellaneous activities. Although Donna's experience in monitoring the rec room is plentiful, this may be an oversimplification. Lastly, when we were collecting the real-time data, we may have missed the arrival or exit of a batch that could have affected the distribution of a batch size from different time intervals.
As mentioned, our study objective was to effectively predict the amount of customers who were able to participate in the activity they originally came for, the amount of customers who balked, and the amount of customers that ended up participating in something else. Through our interpretation of the data, we found means and standard deviations and assigned confidence intervals to each of those measures. While this is explained further in our model, at a high level, we found the rec room to be highly efficient at maintaining positive customer satisfaction scores. We anticipate the rec room maintains its reputation of being a great source of entertainment for many years to come.